What's up, guys? I know I said I wasn't gonna do it. I know it's been a few years, but here we are, back in Mordor. I've been keeping a close eye on my channel, and it's been blatantly clear that almost all of the traffic is coming through my Shadow of War videos. So I've been thinking and contemplating, and ultimately came to the decision that if I want channel growth, I can't ignore the numbers. I reinstalled the game, erased my old save data, and jumped straight into a fresh start, because at the end of the day, you gotta give the people what they want.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
This particular video is more of an announcement to let you guys know that I've returned, that I've been regrinding the max level, and that there'll be more Shadow of War content in the future if that's what you guys like. But I'm also gonna throw in a few more leveling pieces of advice that I either missed or didn't make clear enough in my first leveling guide. My name is Parkatek. Let's get going. Alright, so the first thing that I want to address is the fact that the first video that I made about leveling still holds up pretty well.
Actually, not bad. Pretty good.
After rewatching it a few times, I think that it's about 90% accurate. There are some things that I'll be going over in a little bit that I've changed my mind about, or that I was just flat out wrong about. But like I said, for the most part, the video is still pretty accurate. It still holds up. So if you're looking for something that's just about leveling, I suggest you watch that one first. If you have already seen that video, then the next few points that I'll be making should make sense to you, and I won't have to explain them in great detail, so there it is. The next thing that I'd like to address is that since starting the new game this time around, I still chose the exact same difficulty as I had been playing on before, which is brutal rather than Gravewalker. In the past, I have played through on Gravewalker, so I haven't avoided it completely. I do know what it's like, and I know what brutal is like, and I've compared the two together, and in my own opinion, brutal is just a better experience. Gravewalker might be technically more difficult because all that they've really done is completely boosted the health and defense and attack damage. Just basically boosted all of the stats of the enemies, which makes fighting them a real pain in the ass because all you do is just continue hitting them over and over again, and fights get really long and drawn out. And to me, it doesn't really add anything to the game. On Brutal, the enemy stats have still been boosted, but there are also certain stats of Talons that have been boosted, which makes combat a lot more manageable while still giving you that glass cannon feeling where an enemy can just one-shot you or two-shot you. So in other words, it kind of rewards good gameplay and having good mechanics and not allowing too many mistakes. But it also doesn't just kind of monotonously draw out the length of combat as it does in Gravewalker. Alright, so moving on to what's probably one of the most commented things on my first leveling video was the fact that a lot of you guys seem to think that you messed up because you got too many legendaries before level 60, and so you had to restart your game because you felt like you had done something wrong. That's not what I had intended it to sound like, or what I meant in the first video. What I should have said was that acquiring the legendaries before level 60 just means that you have to do a couple extra steps to upgrade them. So if you can avoid that by just stashing away your legendary orcs until you're past that level and then killing them, that's the ideal situation. But if you have to kill one because of a quest, or if you accidentally kill one, it's not a big deal. If you finish the Bright Lord quest or any of the other quests that grant you legendary gear before level 60, not that big of a deal. You just have to do 1 or 2, maybe 3 more steps to get it fully upgraded. So the bottom line here is, if you can hold off until 60 with your legendary gear, it might make things easier for you. But if you don't want to wait, or if you accidentally get something to drop before level 60, or whatever the case may be, don't restart your whole game because of that. You can easily level that up, or you might just get another copy of that after you get to level 60 anyways. Another thing that I noticed while rewatching my old leveling guide was a blatant mistake that I made, where I had said that to get to level 60 before you do the Bright Lord quest, you can grind fortress defenses and sieges. This time around, I realized that that isn't true because you're not able to do that until after the Bright Lord quest when you start the Shadow Wars.
So that was a fucking lie.
I found that finishing all of the quest lines together left me at around level 50, I think maybe a little higher, like level 51 or 52. So those last like 8 levels to get to level 60, since you can't do the fortress, sieges, and defenses, I found that doing the Slaughter and Outlaw Tribe showdowns, or whatever they're called, was substantial to get me to 60. Now, if we're talking the absolute fastest way to get you to 80, I think that doing the Bright Lord mission as soon as you have it available, and then just worrying about leveling up your Bright Lord set later, and then jumping straight into fortress defenses and sieges, and just doing that over and over and over again until you get to level 80 would be ultimately the fastest way to do it. So once again, the bottom line for that is if your goal is to just reach level 80 as fast as possible, go ahead and knock out the Bright Lord quest and then just fortress siege, fortress defense over and over and over again. If you want it to be a little bit more of a convenient or efficient process, then you can wait until 60 to do Bright Lord because then you won't have to go back and level up your legendary gear. And at the same time, you'll be clearing out all of those obnoxious map objectives for the Slaughter Tribe and Outlaw Tribe, which I have no idea why they threw those in there. It's pretty annoying, but I digress. Okay, so moving on. Another thing I noticed in the leveling video, which wasn't necessarily a mistake, but just kind of an opinion that I have kind of changed, are the treasure hunter upgrades being Discerning Eye and Prospector. If you don't know, Discerning Eye increases the chance for epic loot to drop from regular captains, and Prospector increases every gem that drops by 1 level. I kind of made it a point in my last video to get the Prospector upgrade as soon as possible so that you can start leveling up your gems faster, because endgame you need perfect gems to re-roll your items. While that is a valid point, this time around I've actually been using Discerning Eye, and I haven't changed over to Prospector yet, but I probably will once I get at least 1 copy of every epic. My goal here may differ from yours as far as epic gear goes, because of the fact that I'm trying to make content, so I kind of want to try out every piece and to try different builds. So having at least 1 of every copy is kind of a priority for me. For you, if you find 1 piece of epic gear that you like and you want to keep it, then maybe you don't want to use Discerning Eye because you don't need to look for them anymore. If that is the case, then go ahead and switch over to Prospector because epic gear doesn't really matter to you anymore, so you might as well just be leveling up your gems faster. Bottom line with this one is if you're looking for epic gear, put Discerning Eye on. If you're looking for gems, put Prospector on. And of course, maybe even the most efficient way to do it would be to have Discerning Eye on when you're doing something like a fortress defense where there's just captains dying left and right and they're just dropping a bunch of gear, and then you have a better chance of getting epics from that. And then turn on Prospector when you're just running around the open world, or whenever you see the treasure orcs or whatever they're called that drop the gems. All right, and finally, the last point that I wanted to hit on here was the fact that in my first video, I talked about worse than death not being good while leveling and being only somewhat useful at the end game. While yes, I do still believe that it's not good for leveling because you can accidentally create a maniac, which then you have to level down a whole bunch more again, and you're making the enemy stronger, and when you're not fully leveled, that can be a problem. I do think that it is the best choice for endgame. I've had a couple of situations, even in this fresh playthrough, where I didn't have worse than death on. I shame a captain down to my level, and then something happens before I can get to him again and dominate him, where he gains 1 level or he gains 3 levels, and then I have to go through the whole process of shaming him down again and then finding him again and dominating him. When you're level 80 and you're shaming an orc that's 85, which is the max, without worse than death, it brings him down to 80. So if something happens and he just gains 1 level, then you have to do that again to bring him back down to then 76, and then you can dominate him. With worse than death on, instead of bringing him down to level 80, it'll bring him down 12 levels down to 73. This gives you a little more headroom in case he completes something that would grant him a level or 3 levels or whatever the case is. Getting them down those extra levels is just more convenient, and you don't have to worry about redoing the whole process because of some stupid fluke. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments and give me some suggestions if you guys want to see some other type of content about Shadow of War. I am open to your suggestions. Okay? Thank you for watching. My name is Park Attack. Peace.